It's Noof Nuke. I'm back here with another video. Today's video is a product review of the Wired Controller Plus Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Edition for the Nintendo Switch. It is endorsed by Nintendo and it is built by the company Power A. It is a phenomenal looking controller. It is a great collector's item if nothing else, but let's talk about why I think this controller is totally worth the money. As you can see, that's the box that it comes in right here. It's quite nicely designed, but it's only packaging, right? And as you can see on the side, then on the back. Paid $40 for this at a local EB Games store, but I think you can find it at most retailers. Now what you get in the box, folks, is a controller. Ta-da! You also get this. 6 interchangeable analog caps for custom control, soft touch rubber grips for added comfort, and a 10-foot removable USB cable. Yes, this is a wired controller. Now let's get one thing out of the way which becomes very obvious as you start playing with this controller, and that is, yes, it is wired, and 2, it does not have a rumble or motion controls of any kind, at least not throughout the games I've played. And I played Super Mario Odyssey with this and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But let's look at the obvious here, folks, and that is this controller looks amazing. As you can see here, it's got Link and Blazing on the right hand side. It's got your typical Y, X, B, and A buttons. We have your D-pad, which is also gold in color, the Triforce icon, logo, whatever you want to call it, up here at the middle. Then you have your home button, your plus minus, and your capture button as well. Now the sticks installed on it when you take it out of the package are the wide concave, and they are of the medium variety, so they're not too long, not too short. They kind of feel just right. But you can interchange these, and I will show you how to do that in just a moment. But again, style-wise, as you guys can see, there is a design emblazoned throughout the entire controller. Now when we turn it over, no, it's just standard black. But it is a matte black, so it's not going to show up all sorts of grease and fingerprints, that sort of thing. And it has a very nice texture to it. Like, it doesn't feel slippery, like some controllers where they have that cheap plastic feel. This controller feels like it's well built, well designed, and again, some thought and detail went into the, the artwork and that sort of thing. And I think this is just phenomenal. If nothing else, it makes a great collector's item for all you Legend of Zelda fans. Now, the face buttons themselves are a little bit bigger, which is quite nice for those bigger hands. And as you can probably tell, as you've been looking at this controller basically pretty much mimics the Xbox One design in terms of where the control sticks are placed, how the controller feels. We have your typical L and R buttons up here at the top, as well as the triggers, the LZ and the RZ, or the ZL and the ZR, should I say. And again, a 10-foot detachable cord. You just pull this right out of the middle here, connect it to your Switch dock, and away you go. You're up and running in a matter of seconds. It is not a complicated process whatsoever, but this controller is a beauty, and it feels fantastic. Now, the control sticks, again, they have a little bit of give. They're not too loose, they're not too wobbly, or they're not too tight, I guess you could say. And that's usually one of the questions I get asked. What do the control sticks feel like? I think they're fantastic, and I don't think you'll have any problem. I think overall this controller feels great, and I have a fairly big hand, and it is light. There's not a lot of weight to it, so if you like that heavy, bulky controller feel, you might be a little displeased with that. But obviously, without the rumble motors and the motion, it's going to be a little bit lighter as it is. It is a wired controller, obviously, and again, it's a detachable wire, which is kind of nice in case. Here's the 2 things why wires are nice still. One, if you got a dog or a cat that likes to chew wires, then you can always go out and get that replaced. 1, 2, when you're in the middle of that long play session of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or another game, you don't have to worry about getting up to recharge anything or trying to find another controller. This one's going to stay connected, and that is kind of a bonus, especially if you're a competitive player that likes those long multiplayer sessions. That could also be a bonus, and it usually means as well less latency, although Nintendo's own controller that comes built in the box seem to be pretty darn good. But anyway, that is it. Design-wise, this controller looks absolutely dynamite. I love it. Love the feel of it here. Now, as you can see, in the box, there are some instructions. It just basically tells you what's in the box, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really to see here, how to connect it, all that sort of stuff. I've taken the pleasure of taking out the replacement control sticks. Now, as you can see, There's a couple lengths here. This one here is a short. That is a short. What they call that is not the concave. It's a raised. So it's pretty much identical to the style of sticks that come on your Joy-Con. And here is the longer one, as you guys can see, is a longer raised control stick. And they're pretty easy. Again, when you come down to the controller, they just turn and you pop them right off. Look at that. It took me like a second. Now, does that mean they're going to be wobbling off during a play session? No. They stick on very, very well. It takes a little bit of force to pull them off. But there you have it. There's a couple of little grooves in there. You just line it up, you push it on, snap it in, and away you go. It is simple as that. It's a little bit hard for me to do with the one hand here, but you guys get the idea. They snap in place. You'll hear the little click, and you turn it. There you go. Once you hear that little snap, it's in place, and you're ready to go. So that, in a nutshell, is pretty much it. Like I said, it's well designed. It makes a great collector's item. It has a nice feel. It's not slippery. It's not grubby. It has a texturized like paint finish, like a matte. So that's really nice. Now, as far as the triggers, again, there's no rumble or force feedback, so these things just press in very simply. I would say in feel-wise, they're very similar to how the PlayStation 4 triggers feel. They're not, as you can see, they're not very long, and they press in very, very easily. Again, I don't know if that would be great for some of the racing games if you use triggers, but otherwise pretty good in your L&R. They feel very nice, and they don't have that really hard clicky feel like they press in like this, but they work really well. I find they're really nice, actually. And overall, like I said, there's a couple of downfalls with the controller, and most of it's in the rumble and the motion controls, but in order to keep costs down and as well make the controller comfortable, light, and probably just better, they've omitted that. This is a great controller, and it's a great collector's item controller. So pick one of these up if you get a chance. They're not that expensive, as you can see by the box earlier, just $40, and that's Canadian at Canadian EB Games. You can pick these up at other stores as well. Very nice controller indeed, so makes a great addition to your Nintendo Switch family. Highly recommend it. Love this thing. Pick one up. Change out your control sticks, give it a go, see what you think, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me below. I'll answer what I can. Again, you've got your capture, you've got your home button. All these things work just as they are. I guess before I go, though, let's just at least do one comparison here. As you can see, here it is next to the Joy-Cons in the Cradle controller that comes with the Switch. And if you look closely, it's no brainer. You can see that the thumbsticks are definitely much bigger. You can also see that the actual face buttons, the Y, X, B, and A, are noticeably larger as well. So for those people with big fingers, just like a traditional controller feel, I think you will really enjoy this controller by PowerA. So give it a go. Let me know if you liked the video or not. And if you got any questions, feel free to drop me a message. Thanks for watching. Take care and game on.